Hey, it's me, SA. Um, we, me and a couple of the people, we have something we need to talk about and that we need to bring into the light. So, it's about a topic that no one ever wants to talk about. No one ever wants to talk about this subject. When someone is being used and someone's being manipulated and someone's being intentionally hurt by someone, it fucks you up. And I've come to realize that not only including me, but a couple other people have had stuff that has happened to them from a person who is in the fandom and who is currently active. Twitter, Telegram, everything, you name it, Discord, who has been manipulating people for multiple years. Multiple years. It's been going on for a while. And everybody thought that it was just them. That, oh, it's just me. I'm not going to bring it into the light. I'm not going to talk to anyone about it. I'm not going to make this a big deal. Because it was just me, right? It was just me. And we've come to realize that it wasn't just one person. It was multiple people. An entire friend group. We've all been through it. We've all gone through this. And none of us realized that we all had this in common. None of us realized that we were all manipulated by the same person. None of us realized that we were hurt by the same person. And like I said, it's always a hard thing to come out about this. It's always a hard thing to bring this into the light, no matter who you are. And yeah, I think it's time that we do bring this into the light because it needs to be heard and it needs to stop. It needs to stop because this is not okay. It's not okay in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. It's always a hard subject to talk about. So this is all about a person in the fandom who goes by RayTheFloof, @ on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. It includes multiple stories from multiple different people, and sadly, not a lot of evidence. There isn't a lot to go off of here. And that especially makes it hard when you're coming out about something like this, when you have very limited evidence to prove that any of it happened. And we're all just hoping that you believe us, because we've all been hurt and we want something to be done about this, because we can't have it. We can't have this happen. We can't have this happen as a community. We can't have this happen as our friend group. We can't have this happen at all, period, to anybody. Whether you're part of the furry fandom, whether you're part of any fandom, this should not be tolerated. And, yeah, I think I need to just start with all this. So I've personally compiled a list of things, which includes many people's accounts, many people's experiences with this person, many people's just thoughts and what's gone into all this. And I have it in little segments, so it's easy to comprehend. Well, none of this is easy to comprehend, but, yeah, I'll just start now. So it's kind of separated into certain sections. So the first few sections it's my experience with Ray and what he's done to me, and then it goes on to talk about different people's experiences and what he's done to them. And I'll just get started. So this is my history with Ray. Part 1. We met on Twitter, and I invited him to one of my groups that I was in with a bunch of friends, and it's a Telegram group. You have fun. You're talking with a bunch of people who share a common interest, and it's all fine. And so I was a horny teen. I'm just going to get that out there before I start any of this. And so I have a group now called The Den. And before, I can't even remember what the group was called. I think it was like Essays Lightning Boys or something like that. Something dumb. And so I created that group. And it had a subgroup. It had like a little subgroup that branched off of what was going on in the group. It was filled with minors because at the time we thought, hey, if you're sending NSFW stuff, just make sure there's no adults, there's no people who are going to use this stuff to essentially satisfy their sexual desires. And if it's minors, it's fine, because it's a minor to a minor. It's not fine. I'll tell you it's not fine right now. Don't ever do that. Don't ever think that if you're a minor that you should do that. Don't. It's a bad idea. That was a bad idea on my part. I will agree to that. So the pre-den group, it had a subgroup, about 4 or 5 different people. They were sending lewd stuff in the chat, furry lewd stuff. And Ray was fine in the pre-den group. He didn't know about the little subgroup. And he finds out about the little subgroup. He just finds out about it. I don't even remember. I can't remember specifics on stuff like that. He finds out about the subgroup, and he requests access to the subgroup. Note, it did have pictures of minors in it. I'm just going to put that out there. He knew that it had pictures of minors in it, and he requested access. I deleted all those groups. I deleted every single one. Even the Safe for Work one. I deleted every single group. After I was pressured by Ray, because he threatened to report us to law enforcement after I didn't give him access. So that's all done and over. The pre-den group is done. Everything's deleted. Some people migrated over to my group right now, the Den, and that's a happy server right now. We're one big family. And so after that, Ray creates his own group. It's called the Ray Bar. And I can't remember perfect chronology of everything. I remember these things happening. The timeline doesn't matter. It's just that they did happen. So in the Ray Bar, I used to have an ex. Let's call him I don't know. Let's call him Steven. And so me and Steven, we were fine. Ray got intertwined, causing a bunch of drama in our relationship. And I ended up breaking up. That was over a while ago. Well, just outed his name. That's okay. So Steven and I, we broke up. And before we broke up, there was a lot of stuff going on, and he was interested in our sex lives together as minors, as a 15 and 16-year-old. I was 15 and he was 16, and we were dating at the time, and we were together, and he didn't like the idea of, I'm just going to put it bluntly, he didn't like the idea of being a bottom. He didn't like the idea of even thinking about that, anything like that. And Ray calls me a sex toy. He calls me Steven's sex toy. And so after that, we're done. We break up. And Steven, he makes death threats towards Ray because he is infuriated at everything that he's done. We are all infuriated. And he goes on to make death threats. He takes it a little too far, I'm going to be honest. And so later, I join in as a alter ego into his chat. And after that, I get found out. I get found out with my alter ego. It's not that big a deal. And I get blocked for a while from Ray's chat. So sometime between when I made my group and when I got blocked from the Ray Bar, kicked from the Ray Bar, I get back into the Ray Bar. They let me back in. Ray lets me back in. And so I get back into the Ray Bar. And at this point, the Ray Bar is SFW plus for educational purposes. for educational purposes. Educational purposes. And one of those educational purposes, I'm a horny minor at the time. You know how that works. Ray gave me a whole walkthrough on how to milk my prostate with a vibrator. I don't know, but that's sick. I shouldn't have done it. He shouldn't have gone along with it. He should have put a stop to that right there. And I agree, I should have never done that. That was not my place as a minor. That should never have happened. But more importantly, he should not have gone along with it. He should not have given me tutorials and walkthroughs on every single thing that I was supposed to do that. And that's just disgusting. That's wrong. It's wrong in so many ways. So this is just a little conclusion to that. I got kicked from the Ray bar again. I did some stuff. I don't even remember what. And I joined again to the Ray bar. He let me back in. And I mentioned when he called he called me Steven Sex Toy. And I get kicked again, of course. After that, he goes on to make claims that I'm a racist. He claims that I said the N-word. He claims that I made death threats towards him, which I would never do. I would never wish death upon anybody. I hope he gets the help he needs. I hope he gets everything he needs to get over the shit that he has in his life. I would never wish death upon anybody. I know what it's like to go through hard times in your life. I know what it's like to be fucked over. I know what life is like when you don't have anybody to talk to. I know what it's like when you feel like you're alone in the world and all you want to do is just end it. All you want to do is just be gone. I would never wish that upon anybody. And he says that I say the N-word, and he says that I wish death upon him and that I was going to go to his house and shoot him in the head. And I did none of that. I have friends who would kick my knees in with a bat if they knew that I said any of that. And I didn't say any of that. Because if anybody said that to me, I don't know what I'd do. I would never wish death upon anybody. I can't make that clear enough. And so that's when I started this whole thing. When I started keeping track of everything he did to me and to others on why all the questionable stuff he's done, all the questionable things and all the questionable behavior that he's partaken in over the last 2-3 years. So this is where the stories of other people start. So this is my homecoming at my school. This is my homecoming at our school. And I have a friend who, at the time, was very close to Ray. Helped him through stuff, helped him through life, and them and their girlfriend, they were both very close to Ray. I don't know exactly what happened. There is going to be a transcript with evidence of stuff that happened that includes their entire chat logs. That will be stuff that will be important to whatever is going on here. And so this is my homecoming and their homecoming at our school, which they watched together. So Ray and let's call them C, they were at our homecoming. They weren't at our homecoming. It was live streamed because of COVID. And Ray simps over a 17-year-old who, let's call Z, unknowingly just simps over them and makes jokes about doing stuff with them and all that kind of stuff. Jokes. And yeah, good humor. Yeah, it's fine. Don't make it towards minors. Don't ever make jokes like that towards minors. And then repeatedly made jokes about turning C's minor brother, 17 at the time, gay, even after C asked them to stop multiple times. He kept crossing the line. they kept asking him to stop, and he kept making them. And that's just not right. Then it goes on to Israel, which I know Israel, he doesn't care if we use his real name. His real name is out there. When he was a minor, this was 3+ years ago when he first met up with Ray. He was going through a real hard time in his life. He had just gotten over being groomed by somebody in his life. And he was going through depression, and he was going through a real tough time. And that's when he met Ray, who was helping him with his problems. And sometime when he was helping him with his problems, he pressured Israel into sending him nude photos as a 17-year-old. Nude photos as a 17-year-old. That's just sick. That's not right. And also convinced him to make an AD and put pictures of himself, an AD on Twitter, put pictures of himself on there. Put pictures of himself onto a Twitter account. As well as promoting feral NSFW art. And not just feral NSFW art. We're talking about, like, bestiality in feral NSFW art. So bestiality in an art form. That's not art. That's sick and that's wrong. It's wrong. This is a little sidetracked. This was probably a little bit after I got banned the last time from the Ray Bar. I was talking with someone else who was in the Ray Bar and also got kicked from the Ray Bar. And let's call them, I don't know, let's call them Almond Joy. Almond Joy, they sent me screenshots. Unfortunately, I don't have them. Like I said, a lot of the evidence is gone. It was all so long ago. All of our stories were so long ago that we have nothing to back them up anymore. Sent me screenshots of Ray telling him that he wants to take a dog knot. Like, dog genitalia, a dog knot. He said he wants to take one. Which is sick, in my opinion. And he didn't specify Bad Dragon or a dilt. He said he wanted to take a dog knot. I'm just putting that out there. Now, this last person, who we're going to call Hell, because that's their persona's name, and they also don't care if their persona's name is out there. That's the last thing that I have in my accounts. Hell, well over the age of consent where he lives, 16, which is where he lives. He was 17 at the time. He was over the age of consent. But per international law, 18 for pictures. That's just common sense. 18, you have to be 18 to send pictures, receive pictures, anything like that. And Ray sent, what do I call him, Clarence? No, not Clarence. Hell. Ray, he sent Hell a video exposing himself. That's how Hell defined it. This video consisted of him removing his genitalia from his underwear. Keep in mind that Hell was 17 at the time and Ray was in his mid-20s. That's sick. That's sick. You're sending videos to minors of yourself doing stuff. You can't even claim that this was an accident. The upload times and download times, they take too long. You'd notice before anyone saw anything. And yet he let it pass through. And he let Hell see that. Sent him the video. Now, you'd notice before if it was an accident. You'd notice it's fucked up. It's all fucked up. All of this is fucked up. And also sent, on the other side note, sent Israel pictures and videos of himself. Showing inappropriate parts of himself, showing his genitalia, his behind, his everything, which is not right. It's not right. That's all I can say. It's not right. This is all just so fucked up. And I want him to get the help he needs. And I want him to change. And I don't want anybody else to be hurt by him. No one else needs to be hurt by him. No one else should be hurt by him. He's just done so much shit that it's unacceptable at this point. It's just unacceptable. And that's why we're making this. Because we need our voices to be heard. And we need people to know that they need to be safe around Ray and other people like this. And you need to know what we have to say about all this. Because this needs to be out there. This needs to be seen by people. And this needs to be known. Because this isn't right. No one should ever have to put up with this. No one should ever have to deal with people like this who think they're master manipulators. They're not. They manipulate people for their own personal gain and then abandon them and ruin their lives and groom them and just mess things up. It's not right. I'm gonna end it here. I might come back, might add some post notes on other things that have happened. This is just my account on what I have everything down as. But I might add more. This video may become longer. I may edit some things out. But this needs to be heard. People need to know about this. People need to be aware of this. People need to be careful when dealing with people like this. And yeah, that's all. Hope you guys have a good day and be safe out there.